Deputy Speaker, and there's nothing I like more than a debate on the history of vocational education with this government. The previous speaker said, let's set the record straight. All right, let's set the record straight. What actually happened when there was a change of government in this country was that the vocational education portfolio disappeared. That's how much priority they gave it. It disappeared. Then, much to the shock of former Minister McFarlane, he discovered that it was actually in his portfolio. Wow. That's how much focus and attention they gave to vocational education, and then the minister proceeded to criticise apprentices as wasting their money on tats and mag wheels. That's where the history of this government started on vocational education. This government has an abysmal 5-year record on vocational education and training in this country. Right. They never want to talk about TAFE, they never want to talk about the public provider, and they most certainly do not want to make real commitments to vocational training and apprenticeships and trainees. The minister at the table does her best in trying to rewrite history. The reality is that the VHELP program, which the previous member referenced, blew out on their watch, time and time again, on the opposition side and in the general public. The teachers' unions, members of the public were screaming out warnings about what was going on. Why did that happen, Deputy Chair? That happened because when they came to government across the education sector, they specifically said to the sectors, we don't want any red tape, we don't want any regulation, we don't want to tie anything to requirements of performance. And no surprise, the market took that message and the shonks and spivs emerged and started ripping off students across this country. And you only have to look at the figures of the blowout on Vet VHELP to see exactly when that happened and why it happened, and it was because this government took its eye off the ball on vocational education and sent the message to the market that we don't really care, we're not going to be watching, and exactly what, unsurprisingly, would be the response to that was the response. On apprenticeship numbers, those opposite want to talk about the decrease under Labor. I'll tell you what we did. We tightened up on a system where you were signed up to a traineeship at a 16-year-old when you went to work at McDonald's. That was what was going on. And yes, we tightened that up, as we should have done. But under their watch, even under those tighter rules, we've lost 140,000 apprentices in this country. And last year in the budget we got this big announcement about this Skilling Australia fund, and it's failing. It's structurally flawed, and it is failing. And what we now see in this budget just this week is the reality of that is that they've had to knock another $270 million off the funding. Where are the figures from the government in defending this, indicating an increase in trainees and apprentices across the country? They can't do it because they're failing, they're not achieving it. And we now have a situation where, across the nation, people are looking for skilled workers. Just try as an individual getting carpenters or plumbers to the house. There's such a shortage across the nation, and despite all their talk, and I've seen it through numerous ministers which kept rolling through, despite all their talk, they've not had a single win on it. They don't get up and talk about these are the numbers, this is the increase we've had, this is where we've made a difference, because they can't. All they want to do is attack us. As always, we see that in question time and time again. How about defending your own policy? How about providing evidence that it's working? You can't do it because it's not, and that is not changing. Our public TAFE system is reeling in regional and rural Australia. Every member of the National Party, and indeed the country lives, should be going to this government and saying you have to do something about TAFE. It is the backbone of our regional communities. Our people rely on it, and it is dying on the vine. You should be in this space, but they don't. They're silent on it. And let's not forget too the growth areas of the future: childcare, disability care, aged care, looking for skilled workers, and where are they trained? At TAFE. So even the emerging developing opportunities for employment are not being provided with the skilled workers that they need. Give me a debate in this place any time. The Deputy Leader of the Opposition has put this up, 100% backed by the Leader of the Opposition, because they get TAFE get apprentices, and we are going to get acting on it.